The Book of Mormon tells us that the Nephites excelled in working in gold, silver, copper, iron, and even a form of steel. They also worked a metal called Ziff. What was this metal called Ziff? And why didn't the translator of the Book of Mormon, Joseph Smith, refer to this metal by its English name? That is, if it had an English name. Welcome to another episode of Discovering the Book of Mormon through Science and Exploration. So, what is Ziff? If it were a pure metal element like gold or silver, Joseph Smith would have simply used its English name when translating the Book of Mormon. This implies that it must have been a metal alloy, the smelting together of two or more base elements. In 1829, when Joseph Smith was translating the Book of Mormon, there were only 11 alloys being smelted in the Americas. These were simple alloys such as pig iron, pewter, and brass. Again, Joseph Smith would have known these alloys by their English names, and none of the 11 were named Ziff. In fact, a review of Noah Webster's original 1828 American Dictionary of English Language shows that the word Ziff didn't even exist in the English language in Joseph Smith's day. Indeed, the word Ziff is not English. That is because it is a Hebrew word, an adjective for shining, or a verb for overlay or plate with metal. A Hebrew word for a shining metal? Joseph Smith was a backwoods farmer with the equivalent of a third-grade education. The only explanation for how he knew this Hebrew word of Ziff is that he was a true prophet and had divine help in translating the Book of Mormon. It is true that Joseph Smith eventually studied Hebrew, but it was in the fall of 1835, some 6 years after he translated the Book of Mormon. So what is Ziff? If not a metal alloy used in North America at the time of Joseph Smith, where can we find it? On the one hand, the Native Americans of North and Central America had absolutely no knowledge of smelting metals during Book of Mormon times, let alone knowing how to combine metals into alloys. On the other hand, the ancient South Americans were the masters of creating metal alloys. Scientists have tested some 162 alloys that were smelted by pre-Columbian Peruvians and Bolivians. 162 alloys. However, were any of these Peruvian alloys shiny, and were they used as overlays or plates to adorn buildings? The Book of Mormon tells us how King Noah used Ziff. Quote, King Noah built many eloquent and spacious buildings, and he ornamented them with fine work of wood, and of all manner of precious things, of gold, and of silver, and of iron, and of brass, and of Ziff, and of copper. End quote. What do these verses tell us about Ziff? 1. Ziff was a precious thing, highly valued. 2. It was used to ornament buildings. We also know from Hebrew that 3. Ziff was shiny, and 4. It was used to plate buildings. Do we know of a metal alloy that was used in ancient Peru that matches Ziff? Absolutely. The holiest building in ancient Peru was the Coricancha Temple in Cusco. The temple was originally built to worship the bearded white god Viracocha. The side of the temple that faced east was completely lined with plates of pure gold. The other 3 sides of the temple were ornamented entirely in plates made of a gold and copper alloy. When the sunlight shone on the gold and the gold-copper alloy walls, the effect on the temple was stunning. Although the modern translation of the word Coricancha means the golden enclosure, the traditional priests maintain that the actual name of the temple was not Coricancha, but the house that always shines. Archaeologist Brian Bauer writes of the gold-copper alloy the Spanish stole from the walls of the Coricancha. Quote, perhaps as many as 2,800 sheets of lesser quality gold that covered parts of the complex. The lesser quality sheets were a composite of gold and copper. I think we have found our Ziff, the shiny gold and copper alloy made by the ancient Peruvians to adorn their temple, the sacred temple to their bearded white god. We know him as Jesus Christ. It goes without saying that Joseph Smith was a true prophet. At the time he translated the Book of Mormon, he had no knowledge of Hebrew, and no one in the backwoods of New York had any knowledge of a shiny gold and copper alloy the Peruvians used to ornament their temples and buildings. Discover more about the Book of Mormon by subscribing to this channel. It is free. Just click on the link below. Or you can visit our website, christinperu.com. That's one word, christinperu.com, where you can learn about our books and our annual tours to Peru. Thank you.